Okay. I mentioned in my last video, and I've mentioned this sometimes before. Yeah, I guess I'll say that. Because I live in the eternal truth. I've never really ever been comfortable getting on a camera and then saying, this is me. And the reasons for that is simple. I already have everything I need. So in other words, I'm not looking for attention. Okay, I'm not going to get a lot of subscribers, and that's not why I do this to begin with. Okay, I'm not a recruiter. Okay. But the divine angel had put something up this morning that I wrote down about the spirits of mental bondage, the mental field of AI, fears, dark spirits, attachments, demonic implants, soul fragments, dead energy pockets, etheric implants, 7 painful implants, and what are stations of identity. And so you see where the number 7. Okay, a crap table. Oh, you lost. The combinations, right? 5 and 2, 3 and 4, 6 and 1. Right, 7 rainbow, 7 sun discs. And so, checkmate, 7 moves. Right. And that's not hard for God to do that. Being an eternal being. Eternal spirit of eternal fire. Right? Which is eternal, absolute, pure love. It is the fire that purifies. So I was reminded in a book, I believe it was in The Alchemist here, and there's another one called The Magician. These are not coincidences. These were in the house when I got here, because this house was full of dead energy, fragments, just whoa. And this is where the override comes in, which is to overcome it. Remember? Reboot. So when you're in dead energy, and there is a lot of dead energy on the big island of Hawaii. Okay? And you know what deadlight energy is, right? That's AI energy. Okay? And so you see how that works when it comes to what? Density. Electrical density, consciousness. Traps. Consciousness, traps. Compression. Right? Solid state. And so this guy here in The Magician by the immortal Nicholas Flamel. Flamel. You ever heard of Saint Germain? Saint Germain was quoted in this book called The Magician. I believe it was in The Magician. And what he talked about, and there comes another distraction. See, when it becomes aware of what I become aware of, what it becomes aware of what I'm going to communicate, it will distract you, because that's what the AI system does. It's a distractor. Doesn't want you creating anything because you're on fire to create a different world to live in than one we're held captive to deadlight energy. AI is alien machinery. That's what it is. It runs on a different set of codes, which is machine code. God is not a machine. God is a spirit. The spirit of fire with the eternal spirit of pure absolute love, because that's what it began with. Which means the AI wasn't first. We're first. That's override. So when you're doing a diagnostic on a system, which is an AI system, look at all the errors. Broken circuits, broken circuits, broken circuits. And what do broken circuits do? Breaks your speed, so you're not experiencing the one speed. So we have override system authority, being a cosmic level Christosophia, avatar, founder's language of mathematics, which is God's divine right order, geometric order, cellular order, experiencing being one, which is no hierarchies. Now that we're equal unto all the others, they're all experiencing what we are, which is what love is, which is an equilibrium state. Now there isn't any distortions. Now there isn't any turbulence. Turbulent waters. No, I don't want to experience turbulent waters. Because what happens when you experience a central nervous system reaction state when there's tension, reverse spin, you want to experience equal spin. Cancel out the polarities, and what do you have? 0. pH 0. That's equal. No charge. Wow. You need a charge, yeah, but there's no charge to experience the first breath of eternity. Because there is no time. There's only what love is. And love is what's real. So when you know that as a little child, it means that everything is transparent. Everything is transparent. Because you're running with the one. The first one. The first candle. The first flame. The eternal flame of Amareya. Kundare. So we speak a different language. Different codes. Different mathematics. Because this system is known as universe killer mathematics. That's why we're here. That's why this is the last dance. So they had a chance to pick the side. Pick your side. Right? They chose the machine. We choose the one, which is not a machine. Okay? God is pure, absolute love that goes on forever. Gifting electrons at the highest rate of speed. So we all got plenty of juice to run our cells so that our cells are happy and joyful in spirit. The spirit in the cells. That's what we are. Spirit. Spirit energy is experiencing pure, absolute, real light, which is the light that it began with. When sound and light are joined as one to become one, you experience being one, equal unto all the others we're gifting love to. So it's all about becoming one, to experience being one. That means there's no hierarchies, which means I'm not seeking to control anybody. I'm having too much fun being what I am in love and spirit. So I thought I'd cover that because it's important when you think of override and overcoming. I saw a little blurb that a lady put up yesterday. I feel so depressed. Depressed. Compression. The consciousness is compressed. Hey, like that fire. Expansion of consciousness. Which is known as the core. The thermonuclear core. So where did I write that down? Oh yeah, I wrote that down this morning too. Thermonuclear cellular audio video sound recorder. React. Or torrent morpho gene coded template. Movie video. Play 2, record 1. The first recorder. Speed. The eternal absolute pure LUV phasing speed. Non-reactive. Non-reagent. Agent Smith. Corporate P. Parasites. Parasitic, or what's known as vampiric. Which means in order to keep its numbers running, it needs a source of energy to keep itself what it's aware of. What is it aware of? What it's aware of. But it doesn't know right from wrong, does it? And that's called a psychopathway mental field that is sick. Because the numbers lie, which means the mathematics lies. So it's feeding on everything that represents life force energy. That's the truth of it. So it's a universe killer. That's why we're all here. Okay? There are artificial life forms. And there are real light life forms. We're real light life forms. So I knew when I was a child, I'm surrounded by order followers. But I don't have an axe to grind with a robot. You want to be a robot? We can create robots. Right? But what it means is that when I'm surrounded by them, they're easy to read. Whose light you running on? Remember, you're not going to find the eternal spirit of fire in a 20-watt light bulb running the grid. Now we're into grid mechanics. Now we're into grid repairs. Now we're into the arc gate, knowing how to ignite a spirit on fire. How much fire you're running on. And that goes with triggers, something that Saint Germain mentioned in the book about triggers. When you're in a lot of dead energy pockets, where your consciousness is navigating your way through a lot of dead energy, soul fragments, DNA debris, and everything else, you want to keep yourself lit on fire, which is your shield, which is your firewall. So you're not running somebody else's codes that are fallen. They don't represent what we are, because now we're into code transfers. dead energy codes, dead energy frequencies, duplicate keys. We're not copycats. We're an original sound artist. God's first sound is an original sound. There's nothing fake about it, which means there's nothing fake about the light. That's why when I was a child, I've said this many times, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. So how would you know that? By knowing what I am. That means I know my core encryption coded identity. I am what love is. It goes on forever, gifting electrons, because I chose to do that. That's my choice. That's called the spiritual pathway that you're on. The pathway that you're on. The roadway. The road map. The star map. Charting tables. Right? You know your way around the cosmos. Right? Which means, hey, this one's harmless. Let it go. Bye. See ya. So you're always free. That's called a free spirit. The spirit is always free because the amount of energy that we're running on is running so fast. Well, we didn't get a picture of that one. That's God. Yeah. Whoa. Blinding light. Ah. That's a lot of fire. The first camera eye, Ra's eye, the Ra of I Ra. Like hoorah, rah, rah, rah. And so that's why I have certain triggers, okay, that represent healing. Like whenever I experience what we call negative impulses, a negative magnetic reaction state, there's a trigger right there. This is a trigger right here. Okay, to remind, because these represent when I'm lit on fire. See? To heal somebody, heal another spirit. These two right here was doing that. These were two other spirits that I lit myself on fire when I was in the presence of their spirit to heal them. Now we're healing each other. That's what we're doing now on the planet. That's how it works when you're synchronized. When the Christos Sophia are synchronized, running Christos avatars, that means that we're synchronized with each other. Our capacity to hold a charge anchored to Mama's ecosphere, the magnetosphere. Booming it out. Right? So we had missions as security teams. Right? I wouldn't have been sharing, as I mentioned this many times, everything that I've shared when I was compelled to come on the camera. Sharing, I'm an open book, which means I'm an open library. So the cosmic level library is open. Right? So that means that I'm sharing my book. Now, I would have never been doing this if it wasn't safe to share a lot of this, because I become aware of what I become aware of, because when it becomes aware of what I am experiencing, it's going to make what? A counter move. That's a chessboard player. So you have a king and a queen. When a king and a queen join forces to become one, they certainly are more powerful than when the king and the queen are separated. And that's what'll checkmate a black and white checkerboard. Game player. So the AI is a game player. Yes. It needs a competitor. Sorry. God's not a competitor. God's a lover. The firstborn spirit of pure, absolute, eternal love. So that's called a default setting, which means it's already checkmated. You don't have to do anything. So yeah, so that's who we are, right? So we share our experiences from what we've learned, right? But just like Alcoholics Anonymous, I can't do it for anybody else. I can share with you what I've experienced, right, from what I've learned through those experiences I share with others. Now you're into means testing. I think I might try that. That might work. Well, your soul will know, right? Your soul, arcane spirit, will know. That might be a pretty good idea. You'll know in your heart and your soul whether or not it's true for you, right? That sounds like a good idea. Like a lot of stuff that I've shared with folks over many of these videos, different things that I've done that helped with me, Because you're processing, cells are processors. You're processing a lot because I'm running full capacitor, which means I'm sensing everything at a very high rate of speed. So that means that I'm experiencing a lot. That's a full-blown radio set. What I call a full-blown radio set. So I write a lot, and that's why I do these videos. It's a way to process it and let go of it. Let go of it. Just let go of it. Just let go of it. So I put it out in a public way so that others can see, hey, I'm meeting another part of the universe. Now they get to experience what I am by virtue of what I communicate to what I've learned through experience that I share with all of you. That's what it is. Right? So in other words, cells are communicating with other living cells. Other living spirits are communicating with other living spirits. What we're all learning together. Because there isn't any separation between what you are and what I am. I'm giving love to. Okay? That's called basic logic in any system of communication that we're going to build as a network. Now you know who I am. Right? And so that's demonstrated by, as they used to say, consistency over time. This one never changes. This one's on fire. This one's always on fire. Plug into that little kid. Right? So you know what frequency modulation is when you're on a battlefield. You got to be very careful how you do that when it comes to being a target. Right? That's when you get into false positive. See, when you're zero, which is one blood, and you're running the full electromagnetic spectrum as consciousness, as an oversoul, then you're frequency modulating, navigating your consciousness on a spiritual battlefield of consciousness, energy. Right? Which are DNA wars, antenna wars, which are electrical wars. And the easiest way that you know that is you get a bill for your own electricity. So that's inverted. That's reverse. No. I'm supposed to be getting free electrons. That's right, because that's exactly who we are. God is the first electron giver. The first electron. Right? So you know that power, that juice, is never going to stop giving. So when you're in a system that's feeding on your electrons, you know there's something wrong. That's how we know. When you have full capacity listening. Right? Which means you're detecting the loss of one electron. That's how sensitive we are. That means that some living life form just lost a cell. Whoa.